In 1170, a Welsh prince vanished across the Atlantic. Centuries later, stone forts were found deep in the Appalachian Mountains, built by no tribe anyone could name. What if these legends weren't just stories? Long before wagon trails cut through the ridges and log cabins were built in the hollows, the Appalachian Mountains were wild, untamed, and dangerous. In The Frontiersman, author Alan Eckert recounts a haunting Shawnee tale of a white-skinned people known as the Azgens. Their ancestors fought them in a brutal war and slaughtered them in the Kentucky lands, burying their dead across hills and valleys that would never be lived on again. The land became forbidden, not out of respect, but out of fear. The Shawnee believed the spirits of the Azgens still roamed, and that to settle there was to invite madness and misfortune. These Azgens were said to be white-skinned, with gray or blue eyes, and light-colored hair, a people who looked nothing like the tribes they lived among. Some believed they were Welsh, followers of Prince Madoc, who, according to legend, sailed west from Wales in the 12th century, escaping civil war and seeking peace in a new land. Others called them the White Indians, strangers with strange knowledge. Even the Cherokee avoided their ruins, believing their spirits disturbed the natural balance. And then there were the stone walls, standing on mountaintops and bluffs, Fort Mountain in Georgia, Old Stone Fort in Tennessee, ruins unmatched by native design. No one could agree who built them, but they're still there. What if a foreign people really did make it deep into the Appalachian wilderness, survived, settled, and died defending what they built? This is their story, told through what remains. Arrival and journey inland. In the year 1170, Prince Madoc of Wales, weary of civil war and blood-soaked kinship feuds, sailed west, not with an army, but with vision. He left behind a homeland torn by crown and claim, and cast his lot with the unknown. No charts, no compass of certainty, only the pull of possibility and the belief that a better world waited beyond the horizon. According to oral tradition and a letter written by Governor John Sevier, Revolutionary War hero and founding political leader of Tennessee, a Cherokee chief once told him the builders of the ancient stone forts were a people called Welsh, who had crossed the Great Water. Their memory, like their fortifications, lingered in the mountains long after they vanished. Madoc and his fellow Welshmen are said to have landed near present-day Mobile Bay, Alabama, a sheltered inlet along the Gulf of Mexico. From there, they turned inland, navigating up the Mobile River, which feeds into the Tombigbee, a winding forested river that carved deep into the heart of the Southeast. These rivers, ancient highways to the tribes who knew them best, carried the Welshmen northeast through what is now western Alabama. Near the place we now call Wetumpka, they continued along the Tombigbee's upper reaches, pushing ever closer to the foothills. Somewhere near the modern borderlands of Alabama and Tennessee, they reached the Tennessee River, broad and serpentine, a silver artery threading through sandstone bluffs and tangled hardwood valleys. The river carried them past what is now Guntersville Lake and onward to the region around Chattanooga, where the southern edge of the Appalachians rises like a wall of stone and cloud. Some say a portion of the expedition turned eastward, ascending ancient Cherokee paths into the highlands of northern Georgia. There, on the summit of Fort Mountain, stands a mysterious stone wall, 855 feet long, and meandering like a spine across the ridge. The Cherokee called its builders the Moon-Eyed People, pale-skinned and strange, driven west before the Cherokee came to power. Perhaps these were Madoc's people, seeking refuge among the clouds. These mountains did not care for bloodlines or birthright. They demanded tribute in toil and silence, and perhaps, in time, they claimed the Welshmen as their own. Others pressed farther upriver, navigating the Tennessee to its confluence with the Ohio River near modern-day Paducah, Kentucky. Traveling in dugouts or shallow wooden craft, hands blistered, boots rotting, they paddled through fog and current. The forest around them was no less wild than the sea they had crossed. Laurel thickets tangled like wire, cliffs casting long shadows, and silence so deep it swallowed their voices. Bears moved just beyond the firelight. Cougars stalked their camps. Cold rains drenched their furs and froze their gear. One misstep could be a broken leg. One mistake, a shallow grave. From there, they drifted eastward along the Ohio's winding path. They paused at Brandenburg, Kentucky, a bluff overlooking the river, where local legend still tells of foreign stoneworkers and strange visitors who vanished without trace. Further downriver, they came upon Rose Island, nestled in the Ohio River near Charlestown, Indiana. Long before it became an amusement park in the 20th century, oral legends suggest an ancient Welsh-style stone fort, or castle, once stood upon that wooded rise, its stones now swallowed by time, its story scattered like leaves in the current. Ruins of a vanished people. They left no flags, no written records, no tombs carved with names. But they left behind stone structures and other artifacts. Across the southeast, the remnants still rise, mute and weathered, but not forgotten. Old Stone Fort in Tennessee, sprawling 50 acres between two converging rivers, with massive walls built for defense, not ceremony. Farther south, near DeSoto Falls in Alabama, more stones piled, stacked, and perched above the roar of the canyon like a lookout that never closed its eyes. These weren't burial mounds. They were shaped for survival, built by hands expecting to fight. Stand at the edge of one of these walls and the wind shifts. The stones feel intentional, tight, precise, the kind you set when sleep is earned, not guaranteed, the kind you build when you're hunted. And the pattern didn't end there. Follow the rivers north, and the trail of stone continues, and the oral history holds firm. In the 1800s, Reverend Benjamin Bowen recorded testimonies from frontier families and native elders alike. He wrote of pale-skinned people, white Indians, who came from across the sea and left behind strange stone works. Bowen quoted tribal elders who spoke of pale men who vanished into the forests, leaving their walls and war gear behind. Missionaries and explorers echoed this, reporting fortified ruins too old, too foreign, too unplaceable. Some claim the bloodline lingered far to the north, along the upper Missouri, among the Mandan. Blue-eyed, fair-skinned, their language unfamiliar, their boats round like Welsh coracles, their lodges built in circles like ancient British villages. George Catlin, the painter, lived among them. He heard their stories, painted their faces, and came away convinced they were not fully native. Were the Mandan the last trace of Maddox's colony? Or just another mystery in a land that never runs out of riddles? The further inland you go, the harder it is to separate folklore from fact. But follow the rivers west, past the mountains, past the stone walls, and traces begin to surface. Not just stories, but objects, ruins, bones, symbols carved by hands no one remembers. If Maddox's people came, they did not disappear all at once. They were followed, they were hunted, and they left a trail. The last stand of the white Indians beyond the Appalachian foothills, the rivers carried the story westward. Along the Ohio River Valley, clues emerged, mute fragments scattered like breadcrumbs across time. In Brandenburg, Kentucky, a farmer unearthed a limestone slab, etched with strange symbols. Some believed it was ancient Welsh, a remnant of a people who had crossed an ocean and carved their legacy into the stone. Known today as the Brandenburg Stone, it remains a subject of fierce debate, housed now in a local museum. Just across the river in southern Indiana, ruins were found on Rose Island, mapped by the Indiana Geological Survey in 1873. A structure, 75 feet high, 150 feet long, stood where today only forest remains. Scholars called it unnatural, not native. The remnants of a fortress, perhaps even a Welsh-style castle, once perched there like a watchman overlooking the Ohio. Nearby, General George Rogers Clark stumbled upon a scene he called a field of ruin. On what was then known as Sand Island, now lost to river shifts, he found shattered helmets, broken breastplates, and thousands of human bones, bleached by sun and time. A Piankashaw chief told him they belonged to the last of the white Indians, slaughtered to the last child. Some of the recovered armor bore strange symbols: a harp, a mermaid, even what resembled the Welsh coat of arms. One skull was sent to Louisville for study. The doctor said plainly, it was not Indian. In another account, Shawnee Chief Blackfish spoke of the Azgens, a pale-skinned people from an eastern sea, armed with iron and steel, who once held ground in the forests of Kentucky. But in time, they were overwhelmed, destroyed not by foreign invaders, but by the rising nations of the very tribes who now told their story in fragments and ash. Further signs turned up like bad dreams, Roman coins, found stacked along riverbanks like forgotten offerings. During the construction of the Sherman-Minton Bridge near New Albany, Indiana, workers uncovered coins dated between 235 and 305 AD. Others surfaced in Stevensport, Kentucky, and near the old Jefferson Proving Ground. Aged, pitted, and strangely clustered, they were likely buried together as trade goods or keepsakes. Their origin remains a mystery, but their location, always near river routes, suggests movement, a pattern walked by those who did not belong. Helmets, shields, journals rumored, then gone. Artifacts lost to floods, fire, or locked away in places where questions are not welcome. Because some truths rewrite too much. Even Lewis and Clark, sent west by President Jefferson, were instructed to look for descendants of Madoc. In 1704, they wintered with the Mandan, a tribe unlike any other they encountered. They noted their fair skin, gray or blue eyes, and customs foreign to surrounding peoples. Their round boats, called bullboats, mirrored the coracles of ancient Wales. Their homes, round and reinforced, echoed the village plans of the Britons. No city of Madoc was found, but something older lingered in the spaces between lines in their journals. And still, the stones remain. Crumbling. Overgrown. Marked not by plaques but by moss. These are not museums. They are questions left in the wilderness, warnings dressed as ruins, memories too stubborn to fade. These mountains hold stories like trees hold fog, soft at first, then suffocating. And maybe, just maybe, what was built to survive wasn't lost at all. Maybe it was buried, not by time, but by design. And the trail is still there, winding beneath the leaves, waiting for feet, brave or foolish enough to follow it. While there is no confirmed archaeological evidence linking Prince Madoc or his followers to these stone structures, oral traditions, early settler accounts, and unusual architectural remnants continue to raise questions about their origins. As historian Carl Butzer noted, legends and historical memory often persist where evidence cannot, and sometimes the land itself is the last witness. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more incredible stories. Until next time, happy hunting.